two-stroke oil absolutely makes a difference, and anybody who says it doesn't, you're an idiot.
What's the most ridiculous reason that someone's ever brought something in for warranty?
Oh man, to be quite honest,
I wonder what will happen to the mum and dad mower shop. What are your thoughts?
to be honest, mate, my thoughts are super bleak. It's already happening overseas. So anybody who says it's not going to happen here is full of shit. It was a big risk at the start for sure. But actually, before you go, do you want to know some secrets?
All right, I've got two great bits of news for you. The first is the Mower app. We have just released two brand new quoting sections. You can quote mulching and general gardening on top of the lawn mowing that was already there and the product application that was already there. It's all in the app included under that one price. If you want to download, go ahead and do that right now. The second bit of good news is we just this week gave away $1,000 to a lucky winner, somebody who'd bought the course of Steel Tools. So they have gone. I got the confirmation text this morning from Steel that they have already organized that and they will be in their hands soon. We are giving away another $1,000 every week for the next 4 weeks. The bad news is, once it's done, it's done. We won't be able to do a giveaway quite like this for a very long time. So if you've been thinking about buying the course, this is now the time to do it. They are the best two ways to support the podcast. If you love the podcast, you love what we're doing, download MoQuo, support the course. They're the best two ways. Let's get into the actual podcast. All right, welcome to today's episode of the Australian Lawn and Garden Podcast. I've got a very special guest who I've invited on several times, and we finally got the time to make it happen. Welcome, Will. How you going?
Yeah, good man. Yourself?
Good. I'm going to pretend that I didn't spend 25 minutes solving technical issues, and I'm completely incompetent doing that, and I look like an idiot.
Nah,
So
man,
now I'm
that's the
grumpy.
best of us.
But I'm actually very good. I'm very good. Yeah, not grumpy at all. Although, I am actually excited to talk to you because I got some pretty good questions for you, and I think you're the sort of person who's got some pretty fun answers. But why don't you tell people what your actual job is, what you do for those who don't know, and we'll get stuck into it.
My wife and I, we run a mower shop in its most basic principle on the Mornington Peninsula in Victoria. We've sort of grown the business over the last, 8 years into an online mecca, I guess, supplying spare parts, anything from, mower spare parts into robotics supplies and mower goods. We're probably 50% of our business now is online, which is pretty awesome. But at the roots, we're still just a mower shop, yeah.
Yeah, because you got mower merch, and that's the thing that I think a lot of people would likely know you from across the country, because not everyone's going to stick into a local shop, especially out in the peninsula, not as close to everyone in Melbourne. So
Yeah.
how is mower merch going? Because that would have been a big risk putting that on, all that work and everything, not for guaranteed sales.
Mower merch has definitely paid off over the years. It was a big risk at the start for sure because it was sort of at the end of all mower spares. And I don't know, I mean, you've been around long enough that you'd know all mower spares, and most people would. They sort of really put a bad taste in everybody's mouth for online spare parts with the mowing industry. So it was a big risk at the time because we were like, oh, is this actually going to work after all of the distrust that people were left over with from, that other brand. So, but what's it been, like 3 years now, and it's definitely paid off. Like it's now probably my favorite part of the company.
What happened to all mower spares? I never bought from them. But I heard years ago there was a lot of controversy around them. They sort of, I guess they went belly up. But what's the actual story with that?
All Mower Spares was part of just a mower shop, just like us, I guess. So they were called MacArthur Mower Centre off the top of my head. Um, and look, I won't digress too much because I don't want to get the wrong information and put people in shit. But, just like any business, they can get themselves into trouble and over-promising and underachieving. Obviously over years and years of doing that, eventually just led to their demise. So, yeah. And now they know
And there was
no
a few
longer.
people. Was there a few people I think who had paid for stuff and never received it in the end?
Oh man, there
They
was
were belly up.
hundreds of people.
Oh wow.
So you got to remember, like, I mean, even mower merch, on a bad day, we're getting 20 orders. On a good day, we're getting 100 orders. Um,
Right.
that's in 3 years. All Mower Spares was around for 15, maybe. I could be wrong with that. So that, I mean, I would hate to think how many orders they were getting a day. Heaps, probably. So a lot of promises not kept there, I
Mm.
reckon.
Well, we started buying some stuff from you because one of the things that I think people underestimate is the value of your time to go and pick up parts.
Mm,
And I think people get turned off from delivery costs. But if you're charging $100 an hour and it takes you 20 minutes to drive to the mower shop, 20 minutes to pick up a part, and 20 minutes to drive back again, it's an hour. And
yeah,
it's sort of cost you $100 an opportunity. And maybe in winter, doesn't matter, no. But if you're right off your feet and you're really struggling to get through everything, it's another thing you don't have to do. And the, don't know, $20, $30, whatever it is quite reasonable ultimately.
yeah,
So I've been doing more and more through that. You know, you're driving past, you'll support your local shop, servicing, support your local shop, but sometimes you just want something quick.
yeah. Oh, look, I feel for mower shops. Like it's a hard industry to be in. Um,
Hmm.
like it's a super hard industry, and I'm thankful that we have the ability to be able to pivot into uh, the online space. Um, we try and keep costs down for contractors. We also stock a lot more random stuff that a mower shop wouldn't stock. I mean, I can say that because when I was just Rosebud Mowers, like, even I didn't have everything on the shelf. I'd have to order a lot of stuff in for people all the time. So it's been an eye opener for me running a mower shop about, what stuff we stock now. It blows me away how much stock we have and what we do stock that, general mower shops wouldn't. So, and
Mm.
the delivery costs, it's like, well, we try and cut that down. I think our delivery is like, if you spend over $350, it's free. So the smart contractor will go, well, do I need blades for my ride on? Do I need trimmer cord? Do I need mower restore? Do I need this? Do I
Mm.
need that? And try and plan a month in advance to what they need. And it's free delivery. It's to your doorstep. No time lost.
I feel for back in the mower shop's idea though.
Mm,
I don't know what's going to happen long term because less and less people are going to buy petrol.
hmm
Now, I think where I stand on that debate at the moment is it seems to me that the more power you need, the more suitable petrol seems to be,
hmm
and so the easy debate is why would you ever buy a petrol hedge trimmer right now? They're
No,
amazing.
you
You're not
wouldn't.
buying a petrol hand drill.
Yeah,
Um, blowers, they're 50-50. I'm preferring battery ones these days unless it's backpack.
correct.
And then people argue back and forth about the rest of it. Do you like a line trimmer? Well, which one are you using? What are you using it for? But you can see battery getting better and better over time and people buying less and less. And one of the benefits is there isn't that much maintenance. Just when they die, they pretty much die unless it's a warranty claim or, something
Mm,
small like a trigger. And then, yeah, but at the same time, all the mower shops I talk to, they say the hardest thing to find is a mechanic.
yep,
Because all the mechanics are in WA, if you've got that sort of degree, you've probably got a job on the mine and you
that's right.
probably can earn a lot more. So these guys really struggle to find those mechanics. So I wonder what will happen to the mum and dad mower shop business, with these new things coming in. What are your thoughts?
To be honest, mate, my thoughts are super bleak, and I have this discussion all the time with some of my sales reps. I had the retail guru from Husqvarna in my office the other day, and I never, shy away from the opportunity to tell them how to do their job. Um, but
Yep.
I basically think there's a timeline of around 10 to 15 years before you won't see shops like Rosebud Mowers anymore, or those basic mum and pop mower shops. Even now, from 8 years ago when I first started, the development in battery gear. So, for example,
Hmm.
8 years ago, we were still repairing a lot of battery gear. So, it was failures that
Mm-hmm.
control modules or wirings or shaft issues or things like that. Now the technology has gotten so much better that we're not seeing a lot of issues anymore. We're not seeing the control module failures anymore. We're not seeing the wiring looms fail anymore. Like I've got shelves of control modules from battery gear that's not even available anymore. That I might as well just throw in the bin. Um, the only thing that we're seeing fail is trigger switches, like a throttle cable on a petrol unit. It's still a moving part.
Mm-hmm.
It still fails. It still wears out. But the mechanical failure aspect, it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So to digress into like the whole like timeline, it's going to be the shops that have a really good ride-on following, the ones that have, huge bookings and huge lead times for ride-ons, they are the ones that will survive the longest because that's going to be
Yeah.
the last thing that will go. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but more and more shops or more and more smaller shops will transition away from the industry. Your steel shops will end up in, Tate's Hardware and Mitre 10 or Rattray and Walker like they already are at the moment. Husqvarna will transition into larger conglomerate stores, stores that have multiple locations. Um,
Mm.
and it's, it's already happening overseas. So anybody who says it's not going to happen here is full of shit. It will happen here. It's just a matter of time.
Mm.
We're so desperate for mechanics right now. We've gone to the Philippines and recruited a guy named Harold, who's a local Filipino over there, and we're going through the visa process with him at the moment. We're hoping his visa will be approved any week now for him to come and work for us.
All right, we're right into the swing of spring. And one of the big problems about spring, if you've been in business for a while, is you get inundated with calls, and it's really hard to manage a business if you don't have a dedicated admin software like Sortscape. It's genuinely what we used. We've been using it this whole year, and we reached out to them and we said, we love the product so much, we want you to sponsor the podcast. Usually it goes the other way around, but we wanted them to sponsor because we think it's such a great solution. My wife is running a business with multiple employees. She looks after most of the Silverstone stuff while I do MoQuo and the podcast and everything. She's looking after that with 3 kids at home, multiple employees, lots and lots of jobs, private schools. You get the idea. She's using Sortscape. She loves it. There's an exclusive discount that you can get in the link in the description, and that will not only help you save a little bit of money, but it'll help the podcast as well. So jump on there if you're so inclined. It genuinely will help your business. Let's get back into the podcast. That's nuts. You've gone overseas.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yep.
I mean, I get it makes sense, but you're not the I don't know a mower shop owner I've talked to who's like, oh yeah, we don't have a problem finding mechanics.
Nah, man, I advertise pretty much. I don't think I ever stop advertising. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing then. Like, let's take a. Well, you're using Husqvarna, right? So let's take what's their commercial combi unit?
Like a
That's a pretty common one.
like a battery unit, like a 525 ILK.
Or the petrol one I was
Uh,
referring to, but like let's.
LST 525 LST or RJD, sorry.
So if you take that unit and let's
Mhm.
say it's been running for a while, 2-3 years, and it needs like a proper service, right?
Mhm.
What do they cost? $500 to buy new. What's the service going to be? I don't know. I'm making up numbers. $150. Is that kind of where we're at?
No, it depends, man. Like two-stroke again, like the progression of quality of two-stroke, it's stagnated. So like it's not gotten better, it's not gotten worse. So for example, most two-stroke equipment will have mechanical failures. So things to do with the carburetor, like its throttle return springs
Mm-hmm.
breaking, throttle cables breaking, clutches failing, gearboxes breaking, shafts stripping out.
Mm-hmm.
And you go, well, a gearbox on like a 525 LST Husqvarna is almost like $300 now.
Yeah, gee.
And so when that
Why do it?
a lot of people do, if the engine's in good condition, then it's worth it. But if it's 3, 4, 5 years old, replace it. 100% replace it.
Well, I guess this is, yeah, this is the yin and the yang of it. Like I was saying before, you struggle to find them, but the industry is sort of moving to a point where maybe you don't need them so much. But then if you don't need them so much, then why do you need a specialist shop? Why don't you just buy the battery thing and replace it
Mhm.
under warranty, or get a new one every 4 years or whatever it is? I'm we've just come back from filming most of our Makers Month stuff, and obviously I was at the expo with you. Well, you were there too. It's like we were there together, holding hands, but no, not quite. But we
No.
were we were both there, and you see all the brands, and you see the new stuff, and I gotta say, like some of the stuff that's coming out, it's really interesting, but it makes you sort of wonder the robotics side of it, the battery side of it. Yeah, where the industry is heading. And maybe it's one of those things where we're the old fuddy-duddies who are complaining about, when cars got invented, and we're the people making the horse-drawn carriages. And it's like, oh dear, what's going to happen to our industry? And the rest of the world's like, bro, bring on the cars. But I
Yeah.
don't know. I get a little bit nervous too on your side of it. I think on our side of it as contractors, I think there's huge opportunity. And it's one of the best industries to be in at the moment, long term, with AI and things like that. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. So you're probably really glad that you did start this Mower merch online business.
Yeah, well, to be honest, mate, like if if I really could, and I say it with a heavy heart, um, I would close down the mail shop tomorrow and just run online because I don't
Wow.
have the issues with staff, then I wouldn't have the issues finding mechanics. I wouldn't have, the motivational issues of just dealing with old crap all the time. Obviously, like I wouldn't be able to do that because brands like Skag and Husqvarna and, the Powerlawn product brands, unless you have a brick and mortar, they won't supply you.
Right.
So it's kind of like, for me, it's like, well, it's the, one hand that feeds the other. So, um, I get very frustrated with owning a mower shop because the industry is becoming more and more difficult. We can't get staff. This year, I think I had maybe 7 or 8 apprentices try out.
Oh,
Yeah.
in a
And like
year.
in
So
a
what?
year.
One every 6 weeks. Right.
Yeah, so look, mate, sometimes we had multiples in a week to coming from agencies or school leavers or whatever. The kids that didn't know what, these are all anywhere from 16 to 8 to 20, I guess. Um, they see us advertising online. They don't know what it's like. They come and do a couple of days. I had one fall asleep
Yeah.
on the bench almost about 2 months ago. You know, kids aren't interested in working on lawnmowers, mate. Who wants to work on a smelly lawnmower?
Old has-beens like you and I, and we're not
Yeah,
that old.
nah, yeah,
Yeah.
but
I remember there was one year that I think we had about 20 or so people work for us in that year that didn't work out, and most of them were trial days. So maybe
hmm
it was, might have even been like 26. I might be misremembering. I put a post on it. This is years ago, 3 maybe more years ago. I put a post on it in LMCA, and I remember some people were like, "Oh, this is a reflection on your business, and you must be really bad to work for." The vast majority of people were ones that did like 2 days and like, "Yeah, this is not the
hmm
industry for me." But at the time, it was I remember the West Australian, our newspaper here, did articles on it. Like, it's the hardest time to find employees in 36 years or whatever it was at that stage.
yeah,
And like, I remember being that season and just being like, man, we have to radically change what we do, because the way that we're doing it, we had a lot of work and we needed the bodies to fulfill the work. But we were charging at that time a higher hourly rate, right? Actually, at the time, it would have been seen as very high. But we had just so many expenses administratively, because we're juggling so many jobs and there were so many requests and phone calls and emails. And I remember at that time, it wasn't uncommon for me to do 20, 25, 30 phone calls in a day,
hmm
organizing things. It was just so heavy administratively that it didn't work as a business model. And that's when we had at that time a bunch of package clients, and what we ended up doing is just going, they're the best clients we have, they're the things we want to do, that's just what we're going to do now. And it's really interesting in that I think a lot of people are slowly coming to the same kind of conclusions, maybe not exactly the same, because Carrie said to me, my wife, she said to me the other day, she was like, people are complaining at me for knocking them back, but they're really complaining at everybody else also not accepting them, because they just keep hitting a brick wall. They want something done, and they literally cannot find someone to do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, it's because it doesn't pay well. Like, you know, you want someone to clean your overgrown yard, right? But you also kind of want it for $150, and we need to charge like $800, and so we're not even, not even close. We're not even going to bother. And I think a lot of the industry's caught on to that. So anyway, it sounds like the mower shop industry is catching on to that too. What does that mean? I don't know.
I mean, like, from what I paid mechanics 8 years ago to what I pay now, it's almost double. And so, but also, we also charge a lot more for our repairs. One, because I think that our quality is probably.
Now, if you thought that was a really weird spot to put a break in a podcast, you're right. That was a technical issue. We had no idea. It just ended. That was it. But we did rejoin for a new bit. And if this offends you, as I say plenty of times on the podcast, you get what you pay for, and this podcast is free, so lower your expectations. Let's get back in. Right, we were just having some technical issues there. And again,
Yes,
we're going to pretend like we're happy, we're not angry, and just filled with rage. Because, okay, we were talking about how the industry is going, where is it heading, and another thing that was coming to mind is one of the things about having a shop, you're a small business and you don't have a lot of margin, is that people will try and play the warranty system. And I want to know, what's the most ridiculous reason that someone's ever brought something in for warranty?
Oh man, to be quite honest with you, there is just so many, just absurd warranty claims. The most of it comes out of like Bunnings, for example, and like I understand why, because you go to Bunnings and you buy a lawnmower in a box, you don't get any education on it. We have mowers that come into the shop with like completely seized up, brand new, because they don't know they have to put oil in them and they want warranty. Or they try and clean underneath the mower and they tip it on the side and all the oil goes out the wrong way and it fills the air filter with oil, and then they want a new mower because that shouldn't happen apparently. There's endless amounts. Tire punctures, belts breaking.
So someone punctures a tire and they want a warranty on it.
Yes, all the time. That is one of the most common ones. Flat batteries. It's like people leave their keys on and they ride on mowers, and they call us up and go, I just bought this ride-on mower off you for $6,000 and I can't start it. This is ridiculous. And they'll start swearing at us on the phone. And we're like, no worries, man. We'll get out there. We'll pick it up. We get out there, and the first thing we do is check the hour meter, and there'll be like 100 hours on it. It's like, hold on, man, I just sold you this mower like 2 weeks ago. How's there 100 hours on it? Because you left the key on, and now the battery's dead. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I only found out recently from a reel where someone said they bought a mower with 6,000 hours on it, and they got it really, really cheap. But they kind of knew that the only way it could have done that is someone left the key on consistently. And I was like,
it
I didn't know. But I didn't even know that. Obviously, that just shows that I don't leave the key in the on position on my mowers. But I didn't know that was the thing. So people are out there devaluing their mowers accidentally.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it happens all the time. Skag are probably one of the only ones that their hour meters don't work like that, unless it's on the more commercial ones with the Tiger Eye.
Right. Anyways, so so running a battery down, wanting a warranty claim, getting a puncture, wanting a warranty claim, and you know, I can see. I mean, we talked about all the other problems before, but if you're the front-facing, this is one of the things. Like you as an independent mower shop would pride yourself on being that sort of like, we'll be there to talk to you, unlike the big box shops. But then you're like, damn, that means that the losers also come and talk to us, unlike the
Hmm.
big box shops. Um, I think, I think this whole thing about warranty as well. Do you think? Or is it the case? And obviously, you're selling these brands, so you might throw somebody on the bus here. That's not necessarily my goal. But when something says warranty, have you come across a sort of fine print that's so strict? The only things that pass warranty are kind of like, yeah, it's almost like there isn't a warranty. Does that happen much?
To be honest, mate, if you actually read the warranty statements from all manufacturers, they all read the same thing. Warranties are there to cover manufacturing errors. So, for example, that Friday afternoon shift where
Mm-hmm.
one of the workers doesn't put a bolt in all that tight, it falls out and it damages something, um, or when someone's producing 150,000 mowers a year, there's always going to be some tolerances that might not be perfect on everything. They are there to cover like manufacturing defects. That's what people don't realize, right? Um, Someone who goes and buys a brand new Massport, for example, and 5 year or 4 years down the track, it starts blowing smoke. And they come into the shop and they go, "Well, I want a new engine because it's all smoky and the rings are worn out." And you go, "Okay, have you ever cleaned the air filter?" So there's always a reason why products fail. Um, I find it very, very rare that a warranty is actually a warranty. So, for example, if someone coming in demanding warranty, it's I'm pretty strict on it because warranties take a lot of my time up, like the paperwork you got to do. Um, you know, there's a product out there from a brand that is notorious for ignition coils. That's always warranty because there's nothing really that the operator can do to make that ignition coil fail. Um, so, things like that. That's a warranty issue. I've got a robot in my shop at the moment that's full of water. That's a warranty issue. The seal wasn't put in right, filled with water.
Ah, I
So,
thought someone had thrown it in their pond.
no, that does happen too. That does happen too. So it's very rare that a warranty or someone coming in demanding warranty is actually a warranty. Like, it's very rare.
So you kind of feel like it's the other way around, that the brands are paying out warranties that
Oh
probably
yeah.
aren't warranties for the sake of reputation.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right.
100%.
Mm.
And I could tell you some stories, man, where manufacturers just giving customers free stuff just because they want to keep their mouths shut. Like it's I wouldn't call it warranties, I would call it goodwill. Probably a better word.
Right.
Mm,
Right.
yeah. So what can we
So
do for the
if you're
customer?
a squeaky wheel, you're a Karen who likes to yell and scream, they're getting rewarded sometimes. That doesn't sit right with me.
Hmm. Man, it's it's rife through the industry. 100% rife through the industry. It's actually a joke. I mean, LMCA, like I see it all the time. Oh, that's warranty, that's warranty, that's warranty. No, mate. No,
Mm.
no. So, there are some general, like, absolute cases. There was a brand new V-Ride that got sold and the oil tap was leaking on it after its first oil change. And they are on those little Kawasaki engines, no matter what brand of mower, they all use the same tap and they are pretty prone to failing. Cool. Take it out, put a metal one in there, problem solved. Um, so, there are some cases, but I will call bullshit on most people, and most manufacturers will just do what's called a goodwill. It has it in my little drop down menu when I do a Husqvarna warranty claim. It has an option for warranty, extended warranty, goodwill.
Oh my goodness. They've even got it in their system. They
Hmm.
understand.
They
Jeez.
understand. It's
I
just to
feel like
keep
saying
space.
this so I feel like saying this is going to encourage more people to go, ooh, if they're of low moral fiber, let's manipulate the warranty system for my gain. And I
Hmm.
just charge more, make decent money, have the budget to pay for proper repairs.
Yeah. It's actually, if in my opinion, it's a form of theft. right? Like you're um like again, man, I could put so many people under the bus. I had a mower. I'm not going to tell you the brand that when the particular dealer was putting the mower together, they stripped the seat bolt, and because they don't come with a seat on the mower. And I got a phone call because I someone asked my opinion. Hey, is this warranty? And I went, and I didn't really think about it at the time. And I went, oh, that's weird because the bolts usually go straight in. Like, yeah, maybe it's cross-threaded from factory. Later down the track, um, I got given that seat because I needed a replacement seat. And I was like, oh, just give me any seat. I don't care. The cheapest one. Just need to put it on a mill. And it came with that stripped out thread in it. The same seat that I got called about with the bolts in it. And then my head clicked and went, hold on a second. When these seats come with the mowers, the bolts aren't in them. So how does this thread get stripped? They even put it in so aggressively with a rattle gun to make it look like a warranty. And this is from a dealer fucking up or messing up to cover their own tracks, put that bolt back in the seat on the worst angle to make it look so much worse just so they get another seat under warranty. So it's from people, it's from the dealers, it's right throughout the industry.
Man, and they don't, no one wants to own up to their own mistakes. That's a rare person who wants to own up to their mistakes.
Mm.
Yeah, we had a guy on this positive news. We had one of our guys accidentally back into a skip bin. He thought he had space. He thought he had
Mm.
space. Sorry, when I say back into a skip bin, he's clipped the defender rack. So the defender rack juts out from the trailer. So the trailer was missing the skip bin. He snapped the entire defender rack off at the brackets that bolt onto the side of the trailer. Now, I had spares. So it's like, that's not the end of the world. I've had worse, right? But he calls me up straight away. He owns it. And I'm like, to be honest, like, that's about as nice a mistake as you're going to make because it is a skip bin, not a Ferrari.
Mm.
You know, not the render on someone's house. And it's a part that I already had a replacement for. That was something he couldn't get away with. Yeah, at some point, you're going to find out. Luckily, he owned up straight away. And it's like, man, I really appreciate somebody just owning up to a mistake because the number of times someone does something and you find about it 3 weeks later and you're like, who did this? And it's too late to know. No one's going to dub someone else in. Yeah, it
Yeah.
happens in dealer worlds. People are people, eh?
Dude, it happens with my staff. Like, the biggest thing I tell them is, hey guys, if you break a bolt, you fuck up, just tell me. Just tell me. Like, don't wait until a piece of equipment goes out because you think it's going to be all right. If you cross thread something, if you break a bolt, just come and say, hey, Will, I messed up. Can you help me get it out? Like, and I'm like the master of removing broken bolts. Like, if if there was God level, I'm right up there.
You sell
Um,
an online course on how to remove broken bolts. That's your calling
yeah,
there, mate. Next
yeah,
thing for your sale on mowermerch.com.au.
yeah. So like, just come and tell me, man. Because the worst thing is it comes back. It comes back, and then you look like an idiot. So
Well, looking like an idiot. The next thing I wanted to ask you was, what strange DIY fix or just downright stupid DIY fix have you seen coming into the shop that you've then had to go on and fix properly?
again, man, like a lot of these questions you're asking me, there's no one answer because there's just always so many like bizarre things like blades upside down, people trying to put parts from other mowers that have no, way or they just don't belong on the mower they're trying to put them on. I've seen people try and put different blade discs on different mowers, different handles on different mowers, different actually no, I can think of one. When you buy a speed feed, you get all the different adapters in the packet.
Mm-hmm.
And, I often tell people how, hey, why don't you just bring your whippersnipper in and I'll put the speed feed on. We don't charge, we do it on the spot, we just put the speed feed on for you. No, no, it's fine, I'll do it when I get home. I'll do it when I get home. And then they come back a couple of days later and they have like 4 or 5 adapters and they're all joined into one big thing and the speed feed's hanging about this far off the end of the whippersnipper and I just go, Man, you got real creative with all these adapters, man. Like you only need one. Look, I
Yeah.
couldn't figure out how it's meant to work.
Oh dear. It's a bit weird. You got to cut the adapter bolt off a little bit on some of them, depending on the model that you have.
Yeah, correct.
Anyways,
Yeah.
that was the first time I worked it out. That was what LMCA helped me with, actually. The first time I ever tried to do, and I was like, I've done something wrong, but I don't have any more parts. And I googled what color one I needed for the machine. I had it right, and I was like, Anyways, thanks, LMs. There we go. There's something good that came from the internet.
Yeah.
Uh, I remember I've told this story before, but I remember once I was at a shop and a contractor came in at my local dealer. A contractor came in and bought a edger blade and then asked the guy at the counter to install it for him.
hmm
And I was like, "What?" And the guy, like we were just both so taken aback because it's like one bolt, and like this guy was, I would say, 45, 50 years old. And I just couldn't, I can't imagine. Anyways, that happened. How do
It's
you run a
it's more
business
common than you
and not
think.
know how to do that? Do you so
It's
you
more
get
common
that
than you
sort of
think.
stuff? Gee.
Oh, all the time. Edges I don't really mind because people can hurt themselves quite easily. You know, they put the rattle gun on it and they don't hold the blade properly, and the edger blade, especially if you've a worn out edger blade, is like a very serrated knife, and I've seen people open themselves up on them. So I don't mind it. If someone asks me to put an edger blade on, I actually feel more comfortable doing it for them because it's actually like for me freaks me out. Someone holding onto a jagged knife with a rattle gun on it and it slips out of their hand and just opens them up. Um, the one thing that gets me though is fitting chains on chainsaws for people. Every time it's going, mate. Like if you don't know how to put a chain on a chainsaw, you shouldn't be using a chainsaw. That
Do you
gets
remember
me.
that post? That post on a few months ago now, where the guy put the chain backwards on the little GTA
hmm
uh, still little hand chainsaw.
Yeah.
Now, I think he ended up claiming that it was like a deliberate, like he was clickbait, rage baiting in, with the post. I'm not really buying it. I gotta be honest. It seemed like because he was trashing out the machine
The
like
product.
this is a
Yeah.
piece of crap. And then like I don't know, 200 comments later, I think he deleted it in the end. I caught it at the end. I missed most of the fun, but mate, you would get that too. Someone, this chainsaw sucks. Bring it
Yeah.
in. The
I
chain's on backwards. No, it's not.
had one on Friday. One of my good customers, like, well, I just bought this brand new chain off you. I took it home and it cuts like crap. Okay, all right. Where's the sharp bit? Is the pointy bit at the front, And he goes, oh, okay. I put the chain on backwards.
At least he admitted
Oh,
it.
yeah. Yeah.
Do
We
you?
get
Do you?
ride-ons.
You
Sorry,
go.
go
You
on.
go.
Oh, I was just going to say, we get ride-ons in with the bar blades upside down. Like, probably one a month.
Do you know what? Do you sell walkers at your shop?
No, I would love to. So, is anybody from Walker listening? Come on, please jump on the
S-
bandwagon.
SME, hit him up. Um, the walker blades on the deck that I have
hmm
are the most complicated blades I've ever had
Have you got
because
swingbacks?
swingbacks and the blades are counter rotating.
hmm
So there's a left hand and a right hand and a left hand up and a right hand up. So each
hmm
blade, there's 8 blades because there's higher and lower.
Yep.
So upper and lower on the left, upper and lower on the right. So there's four different configurations. Anyways, it's so complicated and so easy to get wrong.
Just do one
And
side at a time.
oh, exactly. So you got to take a photo because anyway, but I've had them on backwards from the shop. The shop
hmm
put them on backwards. So the shop put the bar blade on perfectly, and then at the last step, put them on the wrong side. So it was
Yeah.
like the back. Anyways, I mean, I wasn't even judging because I was like, I would do that, and I'm
hmm
quite good at paying attention. So I can imagine if someone has a walker like dealership and they have that deck, they will get so many people complaining about their blades. And I
Do
wonder
you know
if
there's like
that's yeah.
do you know there's little arrows there under the deck that tell you which way the blades rotate, right?
Yeah, but you still like you can still put them on wrong, even on the wrong side, because there's one with a flute and one doesn't have a flute. Anyways, you got to
Just
pay
do one
attention.
side at a time. Oh, dude, we get it. Like we get it from like our local Walker dealer. I think I swear to God, like every time someone buys a kit from them, it comes to me a month later, and I go, "Oh, you've been to so and so shop, have you, to buy your Walker?" And because all the blades will be upside down or back to front every time. So they never learn.
Do you judge people for the mowers that they buy? Like
Yes,
someone brings in a
100%.
certain mower, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like commercial
100%.
contractors using that.
Yeah,
Mm, yeah,
100%.
but you got
Sometimes I just want to slap them. Yeah.
what's the worst one? What's the worst mower a contractor buys that that's yeah? Because you could imagine them buying say like an 18-volt thing, but what's the worst one that you've actually seen someone bring in that they're using commercially and that you just are in disbelief?
Probably like the shockers are anything from Audi, like any of the Audi self-propels. Because I just don't touch them. I just say, take it to the tip, mate, buy a proper mower. Ride-on wise, oh man, we've got some shocking contractors with some shocking ride-ons. Like I've got one guy and he's nice as pie, man, but he's got this old Cox Orion and it is like older than me. It is like maybe 35 years old. And it's like, mate, come on, you can't be making money with this thing. This thing would the amount of oil you'd have to put in that engine just to keep it running, you'd be going backwards mowing a lawn. But
I'm just so anti to the way that I think. I'm like, if this mower saves me 15 minutes on the job and I'm doing four
mm,
jobs a day, that's an hour of my life I'm getting back. How much does it cost? I don't really care. I can charge. I can make the money back. Like really good mowers are not that expensive. I just yeah, I can't see it. I can't. I guess there's some people who are really resourceful and they
yeah.
love the idea of keeping things in use for a long period of
Hmm.
time. I'd be more of the line of like, why don't you just then I don't know, give it to a homeowner in need and let them run with it for a long time. I don't know, man.
I, I guess the biggest thing that you need to look at our industry and you go, well, and it's again with any industry, right? But we'll just use our industry as an as an example. And you go, well, what percentage of lawn contractors are entrepreneurs? Okay, so and that goes for mower shop owners like myself too. What percentage of mower shop owners or lawn contractors are actually entrepreneurs? People who have that mindset to run a business and succeed, not just make a wage, because making a wage and making profit are two very different things. And not a lot of people will understand that. Because people like, that contractor just with that old Cox, he's just making a wage, right? He's just kicking along, making a probably minimum wage or, above, but he's not an entrepreneur. He's not there to make profit. He's not there to make an empire. And I guess that's how I look at some of my contractors. What are you doing? What sort of person are you? Are you that entrepreneur? Are you that person that wants to make profit or that above average wage? Why are you working for yourself? You're working for yourself because you want to work for yourself and work really hard and, work more hours than what you probably should, or are you just there to make that sort of that base wage because you like working for yourself and you don't want to work much at all? So
Mm.
two different mindsets, man. Like, and I bounce between what's better and what's not. Like sometimes I just go, man, I could literally run a tiny little repair shop from my shed at home and probably make really good money. But that's just a wage. My entrepreneurial brain is far pushing beyond that now. Like, I don't want to just make a wage. I want to make a profit. I want to create an empire. I want to create a business.
If you've been thinking about getting into spraying this year, or that's something that's a big part of your business, herbicides, fungicides, insecticides, things like that, have a look at Cambell Chemicals. They are a great supporter of the podcast. It's literally some of the support they do is helping getting episodes like this out. So if you've enjoyed the episodes, go support them next time you have an opportunity to. I think Lonro, if you're not using it, is a herbicide that should be in every professional lawn contractor's arsenal. There's no such thing as a perfect herbicide, but this one's pretty damn close. So if you jump on the Cambell Chemicals website, there'll be a link in the description. You can see what they offer. And Nadeem is one of the most helpful people you get in the industry. If you've heard our podcast with them, you'll know that for sure. Anyways, they're a great supporter of the podcast. Jump on there next time you are looking for a herbicide and support them. I think there's something really attractive about doing something to the best that you can, whether or not it actually succeeds. So if you have a business that you plod along with, there's kind of this itch that you need to scratch because you're curious. What could I make this? What could I do with this? And even if you tried really hard and you didn't actually make anything more financially, there's something satisfying at least about trying and not getting to the end of your life and going, oh, but what if? I had this great idea to start Mower merch and I thought I should do it, and then I thought, oh, no, I'll just stay in the back of my property and work on little things. And you get to 65 and you think, oh, what if? What if I'd done that? And I think most of the people in this industry have actually jumped. This is their what if, where they've been working in a dead-end job and they thought, this is not taking me anywhere. I'm missing out on time with my kids. What if I stay in this job for the rest of my life? And they go, I'm going to go start a lawn mowing business. And then there are some of them who, like you say, they're doing it for beer money and they're not really interested in pushing to the extremes. Those people, probably not many of them are listening to a podcast like this, because most people who listen are trying to learn something,
I would agree with that, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm that the second group of people. I just you could probably hang out with them, have a really good time having a beer, and playing darts or whatever. But there's also something about hanging out with other people who are really trying to do something cool. That's it's fun and it's nice.
I think that, like the LLEE that was on a month or so ago, that's a really good exercise into like getting to know our industry and who people are. And I would say like a lot of people who went to that expo, they are the entrepreneurs of the industry, right? They are the guys because they're going to places like this to learn. They're going to places like this to see new equipment and talk to people and have the experiences. And they're listening to your podcast and they're listening to BJ and they're listening to other industry figures because they want to get better, they want to learn. And so if you scale it up and you go, well, how many lawn contractors are there in Australia, and what percentage of are there out there of the guys like that were at the current expo? And I would say that it's getting bigger, and there are getting a lot more industry growth into people like that too.
Yeah, that video that we did where Ethan and I ran around quickly and interviewed everyone for like 2 minutes maximum.
Yes.
You see how many people are at the expo? That video got 1,500 or 2,000 views the day after. Like
it's a lot.
I didn't go to the networking night. I edited the video instead. I was pretty fried after talking to literally everybody there for like the whole day. I edited the video, released it the next morning, and on Sunday, between Sunday and Monday, the 24-hour period, it was like 1,800 or something, and it was like 2.5 in a day and a half. And I was like, that's really cool, because that shows all the people who are on the fence who wanted perhaps to go and were thinking, oh, maybe I should, but it's too far to fly, bad time of year, it's a lot of money, is it going to be worth it? So I hope BJ's encouraged by that, and I hope the industry does too, because it's stuff like that is going to make the industry a better place long term. Make it a more encouraging place, a more educational place, a place where brands are getting involved and people getting connected. And it wasn't like that when I started.
No, and it wasn't like that when I bought rosebud mowers at all. The industry's progressed leaps and bounds in the last 10 years. It's almost a different industry. Um, yeah,
Mm.
it's good to see the networking that's happening, the brands jumping on board. I think we're pretty lucky in Australia that we actually have some pretty motivated distributors that want to be involved. Like, I think we're very fortunate for that.
Yep. Mm. Well, talking about the distributors, one thing I was going to ask you, which I found quite interesting, is you at that event, did you guys shared a booth with Ben from Catch Pro, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Hmm.
Technically speaking, you guys are competitors.
Um, we never used to be. Like, he had Catch Pro, Defender Rack, like he had his own, Ballard products and whatnot. And for a couple of years there, we sort of worked really well together, and we still do. Don't get me wrong. And then he jumped into the spare parts game. He's doing a very broad sort of touch into aftermarket spares. So he just does GA spares, which is covers a lot of your aftermarket stuff. Mower Merch also does the same products through GA Spares. We actually both use the same. We both use the same API, which we both draw off the same feed to create live data through our websites. But Mower Merch has gone beyond that, and we sort of focus on the more OEM products, being able to find Skag products and Husqvarna products. And again, that's what we're sort of focusing more because that's sort of where I think Mower Merch is sort of heading. We just got the Honda account, so we're just about to start building our Honda API, so to integrate all Honda spare parts into Mower Merch too. So that's going to be a big one. We still sell Catch Pro products. We still sell Catch Pro and Whipper Gripper. So long story short, we love Ben. We jam really well. We're not competition. We're just mates, and we just happen to sell a couple of similar products.
Well, that's the thing that I think is. I find that you find the right people in this industry, and they do that. I had a chat with the guy this morning, and I won't name him. He's he had a cancer diagnosis, and he got it cut out. So I call him up, and he works in exactly the same area that we're in. How you going, mate? All went well. Everything's good. Hasn't spread. Fantastic. Good news. Can I borrow a machine of yours? You're not using it for the next while because you're off because you just had surgery. And yeah, sure. Like we've traded machines back and forth, and but he's like very close, like geographically, and it's such a better place when you go like that. And it's
Hmm.
interesting because like I actually see we did a podcast probably a year and a half ago now with some mates up in the north end of WA or of Perth, sorry, who are all in the same area, and there's a few of them now, and they all hang out and they have catch ups and they pass work on to each other and I think it's a better way to go, despite the fact that these are your, technically speaking, biggest competitors. And I don't know, it's a paradox. I don't know why, but life seems to be better when you aren't actually trying to beat your competition. Not in that way at least.
I think that if you can have a good relationship, like I used to have a really good relationship with my local competitors, which I don't have anymore. But I think, more specifically into the contracting world, if you can have a good relationship with your other, franchises or other competitors in the industry, like it's a better space, man. You can pass work on to each other. You know,
Mm.
Joe might be better off with hedge trimming, and Dave might be better off, with he's got a walker, so he's better off collecting grass where a customer wants it, and maybe you can clip the ticket on the way through or whatever. So I think having a good network, and a, a lot of people come to us for specialist advice. What equipment do we buy? We're just starting off. What equipment do we buy? And one of the biggest questions I always ask us is, how do we get started in the industry? And I always say, you want to get started in the industry, Google or cold call, I don't know, 10 of the biggest lawn contractors in your area. Introduce yourself. Say, hey, I'm so and so from so and so. I'm just starting off, Um, I'm really keen to learn. Maybe we can form some sort of relationship. Hey, if you've got any overflow work and you can't do it, maybe you can pass it on to me and I'll give you a slab of beer, whatever. Honestly,
Hmm.
that is probably the best way to crack an industry if you don't buy into like into a franchise is just talking to some of your guys in the industry and getting some of their overflow work. It's an
Hmm.
easy pickup.
Mm, I'm with you. I also found it's quite interesting. I filming these Makers Month videos. I do ask for a little bit of behind the scenes information, and I was talking to one of the brands. I was like, "What do you think about this brand? That's your biggest competitor." And they're like, "Oh, we really respect them. We like what they're doing." And I was like, "That wasn't as
Hmm.
saucy an answer as I wanted." This is not being recorded. You can tell me what you think. I was like, "Yeah, that's
Hmm.
what we think. Like they do some pretty cool stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, cool." It's not like, oh, they suck and this thing they designed is terrible and. Anyways, is there a brand that you look at and you think, why are people still buying that from a commercial standpoint? Like why, or a certain tool, or a certain mower, or anything like that?
Oh man, there's lots of products out there that I just wonder why contractors do it to themselves. There's and a lot of them are products that I sell that I would never sell to a contractor. I think that contractors look, the ones that have been doing it for a long time, they've been burnt with equipment. They know they've been educated.
Mm-hmm.
The guys that are coming into the industry that don't know, they're the ones that sort of get taken advantage of a lot. And they buy the wrong equipment. They go online. Um, the worst one for me is the contractors that skimp out on like a push mower, for example. They'll buy a $500 Massport from Bunnings and then complain that it dies in the first 6 months, and that comes back to that warranty problem as well.
Mm.
Um, that's a big one. I've had contractors come in my store and be like, "Oh, hey, we just want a small little mower. We don't want anything big or too expensive." And I go, "Well, I'm not going to sell you something domestic because you're going to want a warranty on that, and I won't give you a warranty." So I've actually refused to sell contractors mowers that they've asked for just because they'll break them and then they'll come back and put it all back on me.
But what about a brand? I know, like I'm asking you to throw someone on the bus here, but is there, or are they pretty good now? Is there a brand where you're like, man, these guys keep over promising and the stuff keeps coming back rubbish? Um, or is it maybe just, like you say, the domestic side? Because that's, to me, that's fair. If someone's buying a domestic piece of equipment, you should
Mm.
expect it to not be very good in a commercial context. Um, I'm just seeing what your experience is.
I think that most brands that will sell commercial equipment are pretty good these days because they have to be. I think that you want to be careful with the big box store stuff that call it heavy duty commercial. They like to use
Yeah.
those words, heavy duty and commercial, but they don't actually know what that even stands for. So I wouldn't say any particular brand. Honestly, I wouldn't throw a brand on the bus because I think that when they're promising commercial, they do a pretty good job. I
Mm.
would just say you just got to be buyer beware from the big box stores. Anything that says heavy duty or commercial on it is not going to be heavy duty or commercial.
Well, I'll throw someone on the bus in that uh, they're thrown so much on the bus they're not selling it anymore, so it's not that bad. But
Hmm.
AEG discontinued their 58-volt range,
Yep.
and I was sent some stuff from them, and I think I've said this on the podcast before, but I think the 18-volt stuff like the secateurs, the reciprocating saw, we've got them. We think they're really good. Um, to be fair, I think a lot of other brands are doing them now. So I don't know if they're back in the day. There wasn't many other second. Like I think they were the first pair of secateurs you could get at Bunnings back in the day. Now there's everyone and their mother's got one. But the 58-volt stuff, they were saying it was commercial, and they sent me some stuff. And like in the first week, I sent them back an email being like, "Guys, this is not like one of our guys had used it and donked the wheel into something, and all of a sudden the wheels not straight anymore, and you could just whack it back." But I'm like, that happens. Like my Honda has taken so much whacking into stuff and not had any problems. And things like that. And it made me really wary because I was like, oh, I'm in a fortunate position where I can try stuff that other people can't. And it's like, yeah, sometimes people do just whack a commercial badge on a tool and then it's not really doing that.
I think
So,
more so with battery gear, that's probably more so a problem. Yeah, battery gear, people overpromise a lot.
mm. um, what's the fastest way for you to what's the fastest way for you to ruin a relationship with a customer? What's the fastest way for you to throw them on a bus that you think is actually fair? Because you talk about not selling it to somebody, but
Mm,
I feel like you're probably in a different position to us because we've got the I don't want to do it price. You
yeah.
know what I mean? You can't really give the I don't want to sell it price because your prices are already there.
Um, Look, I really try and focus on education in my store, so I will really try and educate people. My relationship with customers usually breaks down when when they don't want to be educated or they don't want to listen or yeah, I don't know. It's a hard one for me to go through, like because I don't really have that many relationship breakdowns with customers. Most relationship breakdowns with customers come from the repair side, not from sales. Our sales are pretty good, man. Like we really spend a lot of time, and we will tell people that we will not sell them equipment. We will lose sales if we don't feel comfortable because we don't want the risk to come back on us. Um, and we can justify those reasons pretty well that customers will generally understand. Our relationship breakdowns will definitely come more so from the repair side of things. People getting shocked about how much things cost to repair, us not wanting to repair things. Um, yeah, so more so with the repair
Well,
side, definitely.
I was wondering if people are really because I've had this before where you talk to someone in the garden, they want you to do it a certain way, and you don't want to do it that way, and you kind
Hmm.
of tell them they're not listening, and you go, okay, no worries, I'll send you a quote later. You send them the I don't want to do it quote, or you just ghost them or whatever, or you just say, look, actually, I don't feel like I'm the right person for you. Um, But that's sort of understandable as a contractor. I can imagine, somebody who's very opinionated coming in saying, I really, really want this tool. And you're like, I don't think you do. I think you want this one instead. I really want this petrol engine. No, you should probably go battery and ruining the relationship. So that doesn't happen much.
Not with me, no. I'm pretty open and honest with people about the expectations because I train my staff that we're there to manage people's expectations of a piece of equipment. And we're don't try and pussyfoot around what those expectations are. So, for example, if you know there's shortfalls with a piece of equipment, then you need to tell them that because you don't want them making the mistake. You don't want them to buy a $500 whippersnipper when they should be buying a $1,000 whippersnipper commercially versus domestic. So, uh, a good example is we have a leaf blower. I worked on it today. It's a domestic leaf blower. It's being used commercially. He again uses the word warranty a lot. It comes back to that other conversation, and it goes, "Well, mate, you shouldn't be using this commercial, this blower commercially." So it's managing those expectations, explaining to their customer that this piece of equipment is not designed for what they're using it for, and so they can't have high expectations of that piece of equipment.
Mm. When you look at your mower shop now, are you more proud of fixing those problems or helping people avoid the problem to start with?
Um, Again, we're big on education, so we want to mitigate problems. Our service shop's already busy enough, so we work on the fact that how do we get not so busy? How do we
Mm.
keep
Mm.
the work level down? And that's usually through education. Two-stroke oil is a big one. People buying two-stroke oil from the servos versus buying a proper two-stroke oil from a mower dealer. Cleaning air filters regularly. Like there's so many different things that we try and educate contractors on.
Tell me about that. Tell me about two stroke oil. I've heard that two stroke oil goes off Is that true? Is it true that a better brand makes that much of a difference?
100% for sure. I don't know if two-stroke oil goes off or not. That's a great question. Probably some that's not a question for me. I wouldn't know. Um, Two-stroke oil, absolutely. Um, because brands specifically design their two-stroke oil for their products. So Still and Husqvarna are the two best two-stroke oils you can buy, and Opti 2. Opti 2 is also really, really good, just super expensive. These brands will specifically design an oil for their product. Husqvarna and Opti 2 are probably the two best two-stroke oil you can run. Um, Specifically designed for their equipment and just a really good composition of oil. Don't skimp out on it. It's the most important thing you can do is buy good oil.
So you're seeing that in the shop. You're servicing machines, and you talk to someone. Which brand did you get? And it's like the machines that are good, they're buying the OEM.
Hmm. I can almost tell when someone doesn't run an
Interesting.
OEM oil. Yeah,
Really interesting. Because we've
yeah.
definitely been in places where the guys have forgotten the oil or whatever. You got a Power Pass card, head to Bunnings. We got a BP card, go to BP. You got an option to put an oil in, and then you got a liter of it, so you just used it until you run out of the liter, and then
Hmm.
next time you're at the warehouse or whatever, you go use the stuff. Because I usually buy the 5 liter. Like if I'm buying it, I'm at the mower shop. I just go, yeah, I'll just get the 5 liter steel one, or whatever it
Hmm.
is. But the opportunistic side of us does get the cheaper, well, maybe more expensive instead of servo, but the less, I mean, not the OEM brands. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, don't buy it. Like it. Look, man, it's not going to matter if you put two tanks of crappy oil through your whippersnipper, right? It's not going to be like detriment. It's not going to blow up on the spot. It's long-term exposure to crappy oil. The products that will have the most problem with oil, yeah, are leaf blowers because they don't rev as high as anything else. They don't rev as high as a chainsaw. They don't rev as high as whippersnipper. And so when you talk about two-stroke, heat matters. The more heat you have, the more it's going to burn that oil. So leaf blowers, they don't get hot enough. So they're the ones that have excessive amounts of carbon buildup on the pistons. That's when the rings get gummy, and you can always tell. You can always tell when someone's not running an OEM oil in a leaf blower because you pull the muffler off and it's like carboned up. You can barely see the piston ring.
Mm. What I was going to say, maybe I should ask, is there another spare part that you just should not buy, a non OEM? Something you should not skimp on?
Um, Look, there's a few. The big one for me is probably oil filters. I'm a big OEM guy with oil filters, and I don't know why, because the aftermarket ones are actually not too bad. Um, I like OEM oil filters. I feel like if your machine's in warranty, it's a couple of extra bucks and just run the OEM
Mm.
ones. Um, Air filters, I run a lot of genuine Kawasaki. Probably don't really use any aftermarket Kawasaki air filters, actually, really any aftermarket Kawasaki product in general. Briggs and Stratton, I'll probably run all aftermarket air filters. Like it's weird. Like I run everything aftermarket with a Briggs and Stratton, but nothing aftermarket with a Kawasaki.
What does that tell you about your
Um,
feeling of for Briggs and Stratton?
yeah, yeah, it's not a good one.
Uh,
But
I
mainly because with the Briggs stuff, it's mainly because like the OEM stuff is not that good a quality to start off with, except their oil filters. Like I run genuine Briggs oil filters.
Yeah, people have been saying that. You especially now with the Victor stuff, Victor being sold, and people just crapping on Briggs and Stratton, and I don't have a dog in the fight. Like I've got one Briggs engine that is currently not being used. It's on top of that rack over there,
Hmm.
and it never failed on me. But I don't know. Is it? I don't know. Like people come to me with these events we do in the the Makers Month and stuff, and it's like, oh, we got this brand of engine and it's X number of horsepower, and this brand of engine it's X number of horsepower, because everyone's excited about the engine they use. I just think that if everyone's excited, like, why? This is the Vanguard, this is a Kawasaki, this is a this. So as a guy who doesn't understand, I just think, okay, they must all be good, I guess. If you're excited, that's the
I,
extent of my knowledge.
I think that you can, if you want to get into the world of small engines, like as in like anything less than 6 horsepower. So let's say from 1 horsepower to, actually, what, broaden it. Let's go 1 horsepower to 10 horsepower. And then you look at like lifespans of engines. Well, the best thing you can think about is a light globe. When light globes were first invented, they came up with a lifespan, they'd break and then, sorry, that is the other way. They built light globes too good and they would never break. So then the light globe companies couldn't sell light globes because they would just last
Hmm.
forever and ever and ever and ever. And so then all the companies who make light globes, they all got together and said, all right, this is how long our light globes need to last. And then all of a sudden they start selling light globes again because they make them a bit shit. It's the same thing with
I
like,
Well, I just want to pause you there. This is a genuine conspiracy that actually happened. If someone is
mm,
not a conspiracy theorist, there was a meeting, a secret meeting between light globe companies that they did
yes,
literally meet up and say, we're going to make our light globes worse because the competition between us to keep making them better is killing us as a business. So if you're
there
not
was
into conspiracy theories, that's one you need to be into because it's true.
there was a whole like a council of people put together around it. It's a known fact.
So is
Um,
that kind of happening in the engine world? Is that what we're saying? We got the small engine conspiracy theory now.
it's happening, but more so with like that smaller engine series that 1 horsepower to 10 horsepower is that they are becoming a lot cheaper because back in the day, a push mower was lasting you too long. Some of the Briggs and Stratton Quantum engines, like you can't kill them. They're still going today. They're unkillable. Whereas a lot of the Briggs and Stratton engines of today, like they are struggling to last. Like they're just not lasting. If you get 5 years out of a small engine on a push mower now, you're laughing. And so
Mm.
that 1 to 10 horsepower now, like they've learned. Hold on a second. For a while there, we weren't selling engines, and now we need to make them a little bit worse so we can sell a lot more engines. So they're not built as good at all.
Mm. The small engine conspiracy or the big small engine conspiracy. I've only had one. I've only had one small engine. That's not true. I've had multiple small engines die because people didn't put oil in properly. But
Mm,
other than that, which was our fault, I've only had one die that I was surprised. I was like, "Oh, this is gone." It was a Honda on HRU 216, which is even more surprising. And it had oil. It was just getting old, and then just carked it one day, and that was it. But usually, I'm finding everything else is breaking before the engine does.
yeah, correct. Especially with the Hondas. The biggest thing with the HR216 is people rev them a bit too high, and the progression of time just gets the best of them, and they get low on compression, and they just become really difficult to start, like really difficult to start, and that's when it's time to retire them.
Mm. But I feel personally like I'm happy to up the res because I'm going to get a little bit more done. Those mowers make you so much money for the cost. Any mower
Mhm.
in that category, I do not understand why anybody complains about the price of a 21-inch self-propelled. If you're a contractor, if it lasts you, you should make hundreds of thousands of dollars if that's your main line of business on
Yeah,
that mower. You're doing fine. Um, but yeah, I've had the decks fall apart. Gearboxes were a big issue a long time ago. The wheels like disintegrate because they've had done so many kilometers of travel. You know how we do like our step counts and we have our
yeah.
hour meters. I want an odometer on my push mower. I want to know how many how many kilometers I've walked behind this. How many ultra marathons have I done over the life of this mower? So anyway, that's a thing. But yeah, people
I think
complaining about that. You go.
oh, people need to turn over their mowers a lot more. Like I was scrolling on Facebook today, and like I follow the gyms page because I find some of their videos like really good. Um, And there was this dude, he's obviously one of their trainers, and he's getting the newbies out there and showing them the trailer, and he goes, "All right, this is my mower cage, and this is my Honda HRU 216. I've had it for 8 years. Bang, red flag for me. Why have you got a mower for 8 years? Like, retire that thing."
Mm.
The second thing is like, I've replaced the gearbox twice or three times in it, and, it just keeps going, and, I've got a good relationship with them, and I'm just like, red flag again. Stop spending money on that bloody mower and retire it. Go and buy a new one. It's because what is the limit, man? The limit on a mower, 2 to 3 years. Replace it.
I
Like
think 1 year.
8 years. Yeah, that's probably like for most people, like a little bit
Well,
not enough. Like I would go two at a minimum.
I
Sorry,
think one's a little early. I think one's a
mm,
little early, but the reason why I say one is if you're a solo operator and this is your main mower and that's what you're running off, right? You buy a new mower after a year, you don't sell it, you just put it aside. Then you buy another one, and then your newest one's always put aside. Then you sell or give away the other one, And
yeah,
like we've given over time, uh, we get a bunch of stuff that's on its last legs, and it's on its last legs, and you can't really sell it, and we
hmm
just give it to some new contractors. Like every now and then, we'll just here's a hedge trimmer, here's a KM94. It's about to die. I'm just being honest with you, but here you go. Take that, brand new person in the industry, and I don't know. It's way more meaningful to them at that stage in business than it ever is to me at this stage in business. I was only going to get $300 for it anyway. But having said that, it's I think again, that missed opportunity. Something breaks. You have a problem. You don't have a spare. You don't have a backup. You're in
hmm
trouble. It costs you a lot of money, and that $1,700. I know things are tight these days, but if you can't afford that, it's probably an indication that you're probably not charging enough with that mower to start with, or you're not
yeah,
getting enough working. So, no,
yeah.
I,
I
I I think the same for the blowers, for the line trimmers. Maybe a year and a half. Maybe 2 years. I guess if you depends what conditions you're mowing in, but I'm just on the side of replacing them way earlier than what most people do.
I think that I try and encourage the contractors to replace any two-stroke items, probably except a backpack blower because they're not running all day every day like a whippersnipper. I would say for a whippy, like like a FS94 or a 525 LST Husqvarna, at 2 years is sort of what I would say is reasonable to replace them. One, because I work it out on like a downtime schedule, and I go, well, one after that amount of time, they become unreliable. So how much time do you spend trying to start it, keep it going,
Mm-hmm.
maintaining it? Downtime when it's in the service shop because it breaks. Um, the frustration in the middle of summer when you're already cooking at 30 degrees trying to start a whippersnipper that just is being unreliable. It's like, man, like I value my time, my stress levels way too much to be dealing with that. Like,
Mm.
so I say 2 years, man, 2 years. And if it's in good condition after 2 years, keep it as a spare. If it's not in good condition after 2 years, just get rid of it.
Do you know what? Here's a controversial opinion I have. I don't understand why people buy the FS version and don't just buy the KM version. Because what I've found is with the KM, you can replace the engine and you don't have to replace the head. And the line trimmer head, if you just grease it up, literally lasts an eternity. I
Mm,
think there are some out there that are older than Jesus. I'm just spitballing there, but I reckon you could find some archaeological evidence of a KM94 head somewhere from ancient Judea or something like that. And I don't know. I don't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something I'm missing here. But you just have that flexibility that if you want to chuck a hedge trimmer on the end, or you want to chuck a pole saw on the end, you can do it if you want. And those attachments don't have to replace so much. Anyway, I don't know. Someone's going to get upset at me for saying that.
I read into what you're saying, and I agree, but I also disagree. And go, well, you have a multi-tool, you have more moving parts. You have a coupling, you have two drive shafts, so more failure points. And also, when they're a multi-tool, people want to pull them apart a lot more. They find it easier to store them in a toolbox. So the more things you pull apart, the more times it's going to wear out. So I always say like less moving parts is always better, by a straight shaft. However, I also do say to people that if you're unsure of what your needs, buy a multi-tool, but just don't keep separating it all the time, because the more you separate your multi-tool, the more, or the more likelihood of it failing is going to be. So, but and also said if you just if you're a new contractor and you're starting off, always buy a multi-tool, because it's cheaper to buy a hedge trimmer attachment than it is to buy a long-handled hedge trimmer or whatever.
Mm.
So
I
yeah,
I also find that style, the longer handle style, is safer because it's further away from you. We've had people accidentally cut themselves with the hedge trimmer, but each to their own on that. I'm not going to tell someone which one to use on that one because that's a whole different kettle of fish.
yeah.
I want one more question I've got to ask you before we wrap this up, which is we talk about the bad side of business, we talk about the tough side of business. What are some of the best memories that you have running a mower shop?
Um, to be honest, man, like most of my best memories come from contractors, seeing the success stories out there, seeing guys that have just started and now running crews of three or four different, crews on the road. And there's been some huge highlights over the years for me based around contractors. My most memorable moment is when my wife got involved in the business and we opened Mower Merch. That was like a huge milestone for us, that it just opened so many doors for us when the succession of Mower Merch came along. So if I didn't have my wife, I definitely wouldn't be where I am today. So the most memorable moment of running a business is when my wife got involved.
There you go. That's a great way to finish. And the second time you said that. You said that the other time as well. But mate, thanks for coming on. People support Mower Merch if you need spare parts. What else? Quick summary of what you sell there.
Mower Merch, oh man, we sell everything. Anything OEM for Skag, Husqvarna, Honda, GA spares. Um, probably, our most favorable product is our mower cleaner. Everybody knows that it's probably the best mower cleaner you can buy. But we also did just release a new website called Allied Track as well, with the increasing growth and theft in the industry. So we opened our own brand of GPS trackers to try and help you guys not lose your shit. So jump on Mower Merch and buy your spare parts. Jump on Allied Track and buy some trackers, and go to Rosebud Mowers and buy everything else.
Yep. And if you can't find anything in there, we have no answers. You're just stuck.
Yeah,
Just go without it. All right, mate. Thank you
yeah.
so much for coming on.
Actually, before you go, do you want to know some secrets?
No. We'll cancel it. Oh, we can't have. Oh, fine. You can tell me some secrets.
I mean, if you want to go, you can go.
No.
I
You
mean,
can tell us some secrets. I'll just tease the audience. People be like, "Yeah,
yeah.
secret." No, we'll
I mean,
keep it.
I could just hang up right now, and then we just don't
We should
worry about
fake
it.
that. Actually, we should
Yeah,
just
yeah.
get the editor
But
to just blanket and then just a minute of
mm,
silence, and then the secret. What's the secret?
how many people would hang on for that though?
We'll find out.
Um, so we're bringing our own brand of mowers to the market.
Your own brand of mowers.
To the market, yeah,
Oh, hold on a second. So you're going to become a dealer, a distributor,
we are.
right?
That's
What
all I can
type of
tell you.
mowers? You can't tell me anything
Uh,
else.
no, no, not really. No, I mean, I want to, of course, I want to. But I can give you snippets. So I've been working on a project for maybe 2 or 3 years, building a prototype of a mower. It is a stand-on variety, and a lot of people know this. Like a lot of people have seen my prototypes at my shop, so it's no secret there. And other distributors know because they found it in various ways and blah 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 blah. But yeah, I've been building a stand-on mower for I don't know, probably 2 3 years. It was pretty crappy at the start, and 3 years down the track, it's finally getting there. My final prototype is literally about to land at the shop in about the next 3 to 4 weeks, and then it's going to full production in the next 2 months.
Wow. Well done.
Hmm.
I hope it works.
Yeah, so do I.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. And what color are they gonna be?
Actually, I chose something different, and I was super inspired by Ben from Catch Pro. When he released his new catches in that hammer tone color, I loved it. I was like, oh man, that is such a tough color, and it's such a hard wearing powder coat. Like you can't get a better powder coat product. And so all of them will be in hammer tone gray or black.
Wow. So okay, starting production in 2 months. Do you have
Hmm.
sizes?
Sorry,
104-inch wide stand-on mowers.
starting production now. We'll get them in 2 months. I should clarify that.
And so you're gonna be selling them that soon. That soon.
Hmm.
Gee. Or watch
Yep.
this space. Why
Yeah.
don't we get why don't we get you back on to do a mini app or something like that, just to talk about them when they're out?
Yeah. So I can't talk too much about sizing at the moment, just because it's all a bit hush hush. But we'll have a lineup, yeah, for sure. Like it's going to be really cool. I'll send you a photo of my prototype when we get off.
Do it. Hey, I've got a request for you to make then for me.
Hmm.
So this is not a stand-on mold, but this is what I want to see, and
Okay.
I don't think the big brands are going to do it for me. I want a 21-ish, maybe even 25 self-propelled
Hmm.
mold. But what I want in-hub motors with a single battery that just runs them, and then I want a nice large petrol engine. So I want a hybrid, technically speaking, mower. The petrol just does the cutting, battery does the drive, and because they're in-hub motors, full shoot at the back. That's my dream in theory, if it works. That is my dream. And even this will probably make it way too expensive, but put an alternator on it so I can charge my battery from my engine. That's my dream walk behind mower.
You're not crazy. Like that's not a big ask. That's actually a pretty good idea. It would just be maybe a bit heavy, but I mean, you could get that weight down. I mean, I don't actually see it being an issue. I mean, there's really good hub motors out there these days. I mean, I'm going to steal that idea. Thank you very much.
Go for it. If it makes it, I just feel like, say, I reckon a 4 amp hour, like literally like 48 amp hour, 18-volt battery
Mm.
could probably just drive the wheels for quite a long time. Maybe you need two in a day.
Mm.
Because, I mean, I'm guessing here, but the wheels would not take up any like power compared to the actual cutting side of it. And
No,
in hub,
yeah.
steal some old I don't know, some old Victor thing from back in the day where they had the full shoot at the back. I don't know. Like just steal somebody else's design. Obviously, this isn't legal advice. Don't take me to court if you do, and then they sue you. But like, I just feel like that. Why don't we have that? And I asked that with Gary from Greenworks when I was like, it's on the podcast. I was like, if you've got in-hub motors, why do you have a half shoot? And he was like, I asked him the same question.
Yeah.
And anyways, it's a missed opportunity. They say, what the engineers say, and I've heard this from multiple brands because I bring this up, they say that airflow is no different when you have a chute that's this big compared to a chute that's this big. It's just faster airflow or slower airflow over a larger area. But anyone who's a contractor knows that the chute doesn't stay that big if the grass is wet. It gets smaller and smaller and smaller and closes in like the trash compactor in Star Wars. And all of a sudden, you don't have that much space. So if I have something like this, it will slowly close in, but I still have enough space. And when it's wet, and I also feel like the problem with a mechanical gearbox off an engine, despite the fact that there's a lot of moving parts in their brake, is you don't have that many options with the gearbox for speed. And I want to go lightning fast or quite slow if it's overgrown. And I love it on battery mowers how you can like just toggle it. Got an
Yeah.
overgrown bit, I'll slow it down. And anyway, that's my dream. I'm sort of so
I
there
say
you go. Use that, and I'll just charge you 105% commission. All right.
I tell you the biggest problem, and I know you got to go, but the biggest problem with engineers is they don't cut grass. And that's something that I've had to learn whilst building my own mower, is that I've almost had to teach the engineer about cutting grass
Mm.
because they don't understand. They can build something in SolidWorks, like they could build the most beautiful CAD drawing in SolidWorks. And then they can build me that prototype, and then I put it in the grass, and then within 3 seconds I can tell you the problems of it, which in their CAD designs they can't see. So as brilliant as engineers are, they don't understand how to cut grass.
I forgot a benefit of my system
Mm.
that I also got to say. You don't need a bar blade. So you don't need a blade brake
Why?
because you can just turn the engine off and you can still run the drive independently. So you can save all that weight. You can turn the engine off and you can drive over. I remember when I had a non-blade brake mower, and I took a gamble. I lifted the wheels up a little bit, not enough. And I walked over someone's Christmas mat, the front door mat. They changed it out for a Christmas one, and the mat was confetti very, very quickly. Because I just took the gamble because I didn't want to turn the engine off and have to restart it. And I wanted to self-propel my way through it. And since then, I've been like, you know what, this blade brake thing seems pretty cool. But you shouldn't. I mean, you got to restart the engine manually. But you can save weight by not having that because you can still drive it from the battery system, which is completely independent. That's my dream. That's my dream mower.
All right, maybe we can make the dream a reality. Just give me a couple more years.
Let's see. Yeah, let's go. And just like $50 million in funding or something like that, and we'll sell 6 of them because there'll be something about it
Kickstarter's
other
for.
people don't like.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, absolutely.
cool, man. Well, thank you so
All
much
right.
for coming on, and everybody else, we'll see you in the next episode.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks, man.